Very quickly, after the break, it is our pleasure to have Dr. Chung to give us a sharing. He received his bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in information engineering. He is currently responsible for leading the HKTP-CCW Group's product and technology roadmap and strategic development. His topic today is leveraging multi-models and Open WebUI to mimic ChatGPT with data security considerations. Dr. Chung.
Hi everyone, thank you. It's great to see the turnout today, and yes, very happy to be here. I think it's my third year. So I would spend about 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes, to talk about how to kind of mimic ChatGPT on premise, and then with a consideration of data security. I think so. You see, I'm from PCWHKT, so more from the corporate perspective. Data security and data privacy is pretty important. To all the corporate. Okay, so let's do a Kahoot first. To get it more fun. I hope it's going to work. So can you scan? So I think there are some questions about land train or kind of agents in the LLM space. Is it working? Yeah, it's coming up. Okay. Should be some sound. Each question only got 20 seconds, so you have to be quick. There will be 3 questions, and I have some gifts. Yeah, I have some mirror cards and Eden stickers. The winners can get both. If later you ask me a question or whatever, answer my questions, you get one of them as well. Okay? We wait for him. Alright. All good, okay. I'm gonna start. No. 5 more seconds. Okay? No. Still no? You're not using CSL.
I'm using this Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I think I have to start, otherwise it's
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Let's try. First question. Which of the following is not in collection of others? So, 3 of them came from the same company or community. Oh, wow, don't worry, you still have chance. The answer is then full. Next one. Cheetah is leading. Alright, let's try second one. Multi-slab. You pick a few of them. Which of is open models? Okay, so basically you can get it from Hugging Face. Cool. Okay, so see who's leading. Cheetah is still there. Next one. Last one. No double point for this. Which one is more likely to augment the generation of answer from documents? What augment? Or RAG kind of. Oh, great. Well done. See who is the who are the winners. Who? Where's who? And then R. R was R. The second one, the winner. Who's the second one? Who's the winner? Go on.
Who is the winner? Okay.
Right. Okay. Cool. So well done, everyone. I think I think everyone have some basic background, but let's jump in back to. We're going to talk about a bit of data security, and then we pick some open source UI to try to play around, and then a bit extending to next gen, the agentic people keep talking these days. So the first one, I think, to keep things simple is basically you use the apps or you use the model. You use the apps. If the apps is it's a third-party apps, then you may have some data security concern because they may be recording, just like OpenAI, they may be recording your chat. And if you pass some confidential information, you have the risk. And then also the model as well, because you're passing the through the prompt with some of the content. So we try to figure out if there are better ways that we can protect data security. For example, if you can basically run your OpenAI like UI on premise, then you have better control of it. But then you still rely on LLM. The LLM could be the trusted API. Let's say through Azure, you can call the Open API models. It's within the enterprise control environment, but still, there are still some people concerned about that, as well as it could be outside Hong Kong, outside the places that you have legal protection. And another way is you run it on premise, but then that requires you to have some GPU cards, and that may restrict the latest model or the parameters you can use. Okay, so then the next question is about which model to use. There are many benchmark. Down there you see the scorecard. The quality, the speed, the price, all those stuff, right? Pricing is definitely a concern because there are lots of traffic these days, even in our company. So the price is actually going up, just like the cloud spending. I think that triggers some concern from our finance colleagues, for example, but on the IT budget. But then running on premise, that may restrict your the capability of the access to the latest model. So I think the key part here is really what is enough. You always can have the the best model, but the best model, your task may not need the best model. Your task may just need a Llama 2. That could be good enough. Okay, so there are two tools we tested. One on that side is Libra. On this one is the Open WebUI. So we start from that one, and it was more like JavaScript based, but then we try to modify the backend. It costs quite resources and time to to do all those things. But then on the right hand side, I feel it's more Python friendly. You can wrap it with different SDK, LangChain, that kind of things, more extendable on that side. So we talk about that one, and the community is actually bigger. Okay, even within the Open WebUI, there are two ways to to start with. You can just basically import the UI, and then once you have the UI, you can just like ChatGPT, you have custom GPT. You can pick which one you would like to use as a tools. Just the right hand side on the tools are available on the through the interface. But then we try to pick the SDK one. We try to pick the pipelines path. So we can have more flexibility and capability to control at the back. Okay. Then the open source UI, we start with as I said, we start with the Open WebUI. On the left hand side is talking more about even if you use ChatGPT, sometimes you give a link, it can read the link. It can definitely go to find the data through the URL. It works most of the time, but still sometimes down there. Over there, it may not work too much. It's sometimes just say it can't find the information. So then I think very classic example, because everyone knows there's a limit
time limit for all the LLM. So you want the latest things, then usually you have to either you copy and paste the whole text, or you give it a link. And we found that if we can use the Open WebUI, we can link it to the LangChain, and LangChain has a web loader model. So basically, it can absorb the URL and handle all the things for you, and then do the RAG to give you the information. So pretty handy. It's not very hard to do. Then the web search, there's also a module in LangChain do the web search. But we found it less helpful, because sometimes the SEO, the search engine optimization, the ranking will kind of mix up the stuff. So the answer, kind of a bit, not as good as if we can actually pick it. So it's a bit, manual process here that, if you want the information to be good into output, then, you better pick, the right link, the information, and then just, copy and paste into that prompt, and then that will be, better way to handle. Okay, so do you guys remember Code Interpreter of the OpenAI? So it was quite amazing when it started, right? So it can generate Python codes for your codes for you, and then it can run the codes even with your data. So in that Open WebUI, they have that as well. So you can run your codes after being generated, and then they can actually plot some charts for you. I think that's pretty amazing. And there are quite some other commercial UI modules without that function. So I think is really critical for a full function OpenAI-like interface. And on the right hand side, the latest release, the canvas of OpenAI. Have anyone used that before? OpenAI canvas? Yeah? I give you something. Cool. Which one, the stickers or the card?
It's in beta only.
Oh, beta, yes. Okay. Yeah, I actually spend more time on it with the canvas, because in the past, if I write a very long passage, or you use coding, sometimes you ask it to generate again, and every time you give a new point, it generates again. But if you use the canvas, you can just highlight, I would just want to rewrite these two sentences, and or sometimes you can just delete the whole paragraph, write to a stop and stop, and then can you check this paragraph for me? I think that canvas is really helpful. And actually, the open source community as well as Code, they actually have that function before the OpenAI canvas. The community is actually quite leading, and I think they actually inspired the OpenAI as well. Yeah. Okay, but at the back, there are some tools. I won't go too deep here, but usually they talk about, you use the filters to take care of the data, you use the pipeline to take care of different things, and you can even put different pipelines together. So I think you guys are pretty good at that, and I won't go into details, but the key thing is to link that with the SDK. Okay, we start with talking about data security. If we can do some filtering, it doesn't mean it can, guarantee 100% safe. Sometimes we will think about, okay, can we actually run the model locally? That's another example of translation. Because of the full control at the back with the LangChain, you can actually say, I want you to do the translation, and coming out with the exact format as I input. So the English can be translated into Chinese for sure, but then in the same format, in all the details as well. That could be quite helpful, for some of the office tasks. Okay, the agent part. Anyone heard about the React? Anyone? Yeah, sure. Cool. It's reason and act. So I think the key thing is, you ask the agent to think about the reason for next step, and it will take certain action, and it will come out with some output, and that they observe that option whether it's right or wrong. So I think on the table up there, so we all know prompt engineering up to the the train of thought, right? As well as some router, but then I think the next generation is about the state as well as the autonomous, so they can actually make their own decision, and they can fix it by themselves by cycles. Okay, so tool callings, I don't talk too much here. Example here is YouTube loader. You can ask it to grab some information from the YouTube, do the transcript with the whisper, and I think the quite straightforward here is we're using the vulnerable sequence approach. That is something that they don't really have the full capability of fixing the problem or self-correction by itself. But then if you use the another tool on that side, for SQL database toolkits, it's more on the React kind of approach, so it can self-correct. It can do cycles to based on the observation. If it's not right, it can do it again. Okay, so I mean it's quite interesting. On this side, you can compare the React and not React. If you ask something very simple to list out the top 10 of something, it can do it by text to SQL. Both sides can do it. But then the right-hand side is a little bit slower, but it has more flexibility to self-correct. So if we ask, oh, then what's the schema? The left side doesn't reply because it doesn't have the capability to self-correct. On the right-hand side, it can do it. So I think that's quite amazing, for the agentic journey we're going after. I don't talk too much on that. But then, another thing to think about as we start with is if we don't host the server on premise, but just like your iPhone, the latest iPhone, it has the NPU, right? If your laptop or iPhone is actually powerful enough, you can actually run the model on your device. That can help a lot in terms of data security. Just imagine, if you have an Excel file, every macro in the Excel is actually running on your laptop. Your risk team or your IT team, won't complain too much. But if you have that macro or Excel running on cloud, then they will concern about that, right? Yeah. So then that brings the problem of whether you can run a large language model on your device. Then containerization, that kind of tools can be helpful. And I think in the future, we'll see more use case on that. And I think I want to highlight is, if the model is good enough, then maybe that is fine. Sometimes you don't need the biggest model or the best model on your laptop, but then that's good enough. Okay, so my second last slide. This is not only about model. I mean, model is a kind of like a weapons game, which most of the company can't fight with the big magnificent seven, right? Even ourselves. So I think tracing down the way of getting the best model may not the way for everyone, but just for the big giants. But then we have to think about what tools or what package, what agents we can actually build around it. The ecosystem actually counts better than just the model. Okay, so to wrap up, and I hope you get a sense of for corporate, we always think about from the data security. We have to protect not our own data, but the customer data. Whether we trust open source to have the transparency, whether we can trust the cloud, or we actually have to run everything on premise. That's a balance. And also, if you run everything on premise, that is a bit problem of whether you get the latest model, but then you have more cost concern. Maybe you don't have the best model, but then you are well protected. Okay. Finally, I think the agent is still the best things. This year, I think last year is the year of pilot. This year is the year of production. Next year maybe the year of agents. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Any questions?